Well, let's get into it. So a couple things that if you've been to one of my presentations, you know that I'm going to make this very engaging. I want to do a lot of call and response. Let's do this together. So the first thing I'm going to ask everybody to do is it helps me know that we're all on the same page and we're doing well if I can see scuba symbols. And scuba, this symbol means I'm doing okay. The thumbs up means I need to go up and breathe. So I'm going to ask everybody in the chat, if you hit the little emoji icon and you type in the word okay, you can put that symbol in. If everybody will give me a little OK symbol, it lets me know that we're doing great. Oh, thank you, everybody. This is what I need to see. Good. Appreciate it. Love it. Okay. Love it. Thank you. Thank you. So a couple things is this will be recorded and sent out to you later today. So you do not need to worry about taking notes, screenshots. If you want to, you go have at it, but you definitely don't need to worry about that. Save some questions for me if you can at the end. And again, this is recorded, so just be in it. I'll put you through a fun ride, hopefully inspire you, and you get some cool ideas out of it. Okie dokie, let's do it. So, if you don't know who I am, you might be like, who is this dude with long hair talking? What is going on? So my name is John Lee. I've been running Dashboard Dudes for almost like 5 years now, which is kind of crazy. And I won the Domo Educator of the Year award last year at Domopalooza. I've spoken at four different Domopaloozas. I was actually in Japan. This picture on the right is where they flew me out to Japan to talk with this guy Noah on stage to show some Domo stuff, and we actually made s'mores on stage. It's a very American thing. The Japanese were like, "What is this?" So that was kind of fun to go do. So I've been using Domo since 2016. Domo was born in 2015, so I've been using it for a super, super, super long time. Now, in that time, the thing that I really want to talk about today is monetizing Domo. And we're going to talk about three different aspects: audience, horizontal expansion, vertical expansion. But we're going to kind of make this a little bit of a game so that you can kind of see what's happening. So I went to Kellogg Business School. I went to Northwestern for undergrad and for business school. And one of the lessons I learned was about audience. So I'm gonna do this with you all. We're gonna have a little bit of fun with it. So on the left-hand side, this picture, this is my father. My father was a fighter pilot during the Vietnam War. He was trained in Pensacola, Florida. He learned to fight with the Americans against the North Vietnam. And this was his plane. It was right here, a Sky Raider, and he flew an F5 and all these things. I'm like, man, what a guy. And here I am just talking about when to do a group buy on an ETL. Like that's his son. But that's what we got. So my dad's pretty badass guy, and I have a question for everybody. I'd like to know, hey, how do you think we can make a jet go faster? I know you're probably like, duh, what? I would love for you to either come off mute or to write in the comments if you wanted to make my dad's jet go faster. How can you make it go faster? Anybody got any ideas? Type it in. Make it lighter. Yes, that's one. We can make it lighter. Great, great, great. What else we got? What else we got? Reduce drag. Perfect. Anything else? Strap some jets to it. Some other things. Right. Spin the manually spin the propeller faster. Right. So one way that we think a lot about how do we make things go faster is we say put more gas into it, right? Usually make it go. But for everybody here, giving good answers, especially Hayden and Shannon, yeah, we could also reduce drag. That's a great way to make things go faster. So when we think about drag, we think about it as friction. How can we reduce friction for our audience? So I'd like to do another game with you. Let's talk about couches. All right, everybody, think about your couch. Think about your couch that you have at home, your main couch, the one that you like to watch TV, maybe fall asleep on, all these couches in here. Now, there's this company that I learned this in business school. There's this company that makes custom couches. You can pick the type of upholstery you want, the size, the color, the number of sectionals, pieces that you want to do all these things. And they were seeing that their sales were not doing so hot, not as hot as they had expected them to do. Let's talk about this. What are some what are some friction points that might exist when you are buying a couch? Anybody got any ideas? I would love for you to write it down. Too many options. Too many options. Please say more. What does that mean in terms of color, in terms of everything, material? But everybody write into size of the couch, right? We got size of the couch might be a big problem. What else? Anybody got anything for me? Comfortability, right. Maybe you're designing a couch online. You have no clue. Is it going to be comfortable? And maybe it doesn't look comfortable at all. Don't know. Ability to test it out, right. You're buying it online. How do you know it's going to be good? Am I going to like it? Assembly, right. Do I need to go put, is it IKEA? Do I need to put this thing together? Visual, these are all very good. You might see it, right. Unclear description. We don't know, right? Is it gonna look good in my place, depending on how it's described? We got all these factors. So when they were actually when the if you know IDEO, it's the they do a lot of innovative stuff. They were hired by this couch company to kind of figure this whole thing out. IDEO interviewed a bunch of customers who like abandoned cart. They put it in their cart, they designed it, they spent so much time building it all out. They put it in their cart, they were going to buy it, and they just didn't. And IDEO was like, one of my professors, he worked for IDEO. He was like, yeah, what do you think happened? The reason why is because people who are buying couches didn't know what to do with their existing couch. Like, well, what do I do with my old one? Do I just throw it in the alley? Do I have to go downstairs and go do all that? Is it worth it? And so there they discovered that was a friction point. So then they went back to the couch company and said, "Hey, we think you need to offer free haul away." And that's it. So what they did is on their website, they said they advertise, design a couch, you buy it, everything. We will have people come over who deliver the couch and they will take away your old one, not your problem anymore. And then they just saw sales just whoop, just spike up. So the reason why I'm showing you the story is because we can provide a lot of value to people, not just by giving them more things, but just like my dad's jet, with reducing drag, just like with couches, if we can reduce the friction points in people's lives, that's also providing a lot of value. Makes sense? So let's talk about how that works in the context of Domo data stuff. I'm going to tell you some stories real quickly. So these are some parts where I've seen a lot of friction that exists when I'm helping people with doing data stuff, especially getting data so that they can do something with it. The first one is definitely reporting speed. It just takes a long time for them to go do something in there to maybe pull a report and to assemble it all together. Monthly business reviews, quarterly business reviews, if you ever do all this stuff, I don't know if this is you, but I'm just going to mind read. You probably have something in Excel, or maybe your team does in Excel. They have to scramble to go download a bunch of junk, copy paste it into that Excel tab, update the pivot table to now have additional rows in it, hit refresh, take that thing, go put that into a PowerPoint deck, and then you have to kind of spot numbers and do it all over again next week or every month or every quarter because you forgot how to do it. If this sounds right, this is another friction point because too many things are in the way. And we have other pieces in here, building dashboards, not knowing how to do Excel formulas, SQL, all this other junk in here. So I'd like to show you, just talk to you about a couple of these stories on the right here. These are real people that I've worked with. And I'm going to show you how I was able to reduce their friction points. Venkat, first one. So Venkat, he worked for the email department of a big company, and he told me that he spent 8 hours a week, a full day, just downloading data. That was it, just downloading, not even doing anything to it. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And I was like, hey, we could do that all in Domo, actually. We could just hook up this connector. He was on email, so we hooked up Constant Contact. That was the email service we use. And I could just do that for you. And so you don't need to download it and put it into Excel little tabs. We're just done. Every day I can have it do its job. And then boom, got 8 hours back in his week. That's a whole work day, right? That's kind of crazy. Brandy over here, kind of similar. So she would download a bunch of stuff, and then she would spend an entire day just putting, like an entire work day, just putting a deck together so that she can show all her different branches. So what she did is she sold like upscale bedding. It was like premium bedding equipment, and she had all these different branches all over the state. And she'd have to meet every single week, and she'd have to show them this deck of, here's how your branch is doing, here's how your branch is doing, here's how your branch is doing, here's how your branch is doing. And I said, you don't have to do that. I can actually download all that stuff for you right away, based on these connectors. And I could produce a dashboard for you that shows you how's the company doing in total and how's every branch doing. And then you can download it, you can email it out, you could just give them the link to it, whatever you want. And again, boom, saved her a bunch of time, right? So I'm just showing you this pattern of reducing friction. Jackie over here, Same thing. She had to pull a lot of stuff from Google Ads and Bing and Google Analytics. And it was just a mess. But I'm like, we can just set up the connector, done. Here's your dashboard. And with Tabitha, I'm not going to go through each of this, but with Tabitha, she worked for a marketing agency and she wanted to know how are her clients doing in terms of marketing spend? How much did they spend yesterday? What should they have spent? Are they above or below their number that they should be hitting? And I'm like, oh, I could just make this for you. And instead of even logging in Domo, I'm going to proactively email it to you every single Monday so you could just see this and you don't even have to worry about it. And so what I'm trying to show you here is I didn't really do anything spectacular. I just removed friction points from them. And then what we discovered when I was working for a bunch of other people, it's like, hey, we can actually monetize this a bit. And I've been doing this for a long time, and I've helped, I don't know, maybe 10 plus companies actually make revenue off of Domo and enough to afford what Domo is and even go beyond that. Some people it's actually their full revenue stream, just providing dashboards. So I just want to give you some of those stories about how I'm able to reduce some friction, and then let's talk about how to go do it and how to get some buy-in. So first off is with solutions. Here's the main one. Here's the main thing you're going to use right away. Embed. Hey, on the call, I'd love to know how many of you have ever used Embed? Whether it be in a dashboard or an app, you can give me a little scuba symbol if you have. If you have not, no big deal. Okay, maybe no one yet. We'll see what comes through. So let me show you what this embed thing is. It's pretty cool. What you could do with embed is even on here, this is my app right now. If I go right here, this little square plus the up arrow, and I go to embed, I get this little thing called an iframe code right there. And even what I can do with it is I can take it and I can put it into my own website. So I'm going to actually show you on my website. Give me 1 minute. I go here, content, templates. This is Domo right now. And if you did not know this, like you would not know this unless I told you, or unless you're very familiar with Domo. But this somebody can interact with this right now. They can click on things, they can use filters. They can't really download anything, but this is what embed is, right? It's embedded Domo everywhere. It's into my website. So what we did with a couple of my when I used to work for some people is we would make them a dashboard just like you normally would for your clients. We would take that embed code, we'd put it onto our own website. Then I would basically password protect this page. So you can't get in unless you have the password. And then we would sell that password to my clients' clients. And what's cool about that is like, yeah, win-win-win situation. Another thing I learned in school is our team won because that's less work for us that we have to do. We don't have to go scrambling around making reports every single week, especially putting in a PowerPoint. We're just done. Here you go. The client won because they can pull this whenever they wanted to. So they didn't have to ask my team to go make something new to show their boss. They could just pull it whenever they wanted. And the company won because now it's a new revenue stream for them. So that was pretty cool. So once I did that, I kind of just did it for a lot of other people that I would help out later, and just showing you like this is super, super, super easy to do. Is that different from PDP? Great question. Is this different from PDP versus password permission? It is. So PDP is at the data set level. So what Curie's question is saying, hey, if I have a data set, I can say, hey, I only want John to see this part of this data set, only if his name exists in the email address. I only want John to see if this part of the data set, see this part of the data set, again, if his name is this or whatever. That's just on the data set. For a dashboard, though, we can say, hey, I want to embed this dashboard and only people that have that password can see it. And what's cool about that is because this is on your website, is if somebody leaves, this is the big value proposition we gave to our clients. We could say, yeah, we're just going to give you a password. We're not going to deal with giving managing email addresses and all that stuff, because that way if somebody leaves, we just change the password and we're done. Easy. And then you don't have to dole out licenses and all that other junk. But good question, Carrie. But this is what we can do pretty easy. So that's one that we can do here, where we do iframe, HTML, password. And if you were like, what is an iframe? How do I put an HTML? If you want to book time with me, I'll show you real fast. It's like copy paste, you're done. Okay, right back. So then we can amp it up a little bit. What we started doing then is we had some clients who they're like, hey, I would love to get this data. I can see the dashboard, but is there a way that I can go get it? And I said, sure. What do you currently use? And I have people tell me they use Box or they use Google Sheets even, like no problemo. So Domo has these things called writebacks. And if I type in writeback, Kiri's very familiar with writebacks right now. If I type in writebacks, we can see all these things in here. And what you can do is you could basically take a data set that you have done through an ETL or whatever you want to do and push it into somebody else's system. So for one of my clients, we would take Google Ads, we take Google Analytics, we take SEO junk, merge it all together in ETL, do a bunch of analysis in the ETL, produce it the way we need to, and then we just do a writeback to push it into our other client's Google Sheet. And the reason why is because that Google Sheet powered their charts that they would use for their Google slide decks. So now this was like amazing. Every single day, we pulled data from Google Ads automatically. No one touched the button. ETL automatically triggered after that, which is super cool. Then that automatically pushed into Google Sheets, which then automatically updated their slides. Nobody pushed a button, and the slides were always updated right away. So that was like a huge way that we're reducing friction again of time, that people got a lot of value out of this, and they were very, very, very willing to pay for that. So you have writebacks. Do you prefer writeback over plugin? Oh, what a good question, Shannon. It's because she's eating breakfast and I don't eat breakfast, so that's why maybe I don't anticipate these questions. Writebacks over Microsoft plugin. I do prefer writeback over Microsoft plugin. So the question is this: when we have writebacks, we can say, hey, go automatically push that into here. What Shannon's asking is she's asking about a Microsoft plugin, and I think I have to share my entire screen. Give me 1 minute to do that. Yeah, I'm going to stop and share my screen so you can see everything. Share this one. Yeah, cool. Okay, you can see PowerPoint. Awesome. So right here is my screen sharing. Good. Right, awesome. So right here at the top, there's this Domo plugin that you can get. And what I can do is I can say, hey, I want to go connect. I have data. Let's see if I am connected to anything right now. I'll put in mine. Dashboard dudes. I'm authenticating. Great. We're back in. Awesome. So now what's happening is Domo and Microsoft are talking. And PowerPoint, I can say, hey, you know what I want? I want to go pull in, for instance, like whatever this card is. This is me just showing some stuff. I say, yep, I want to pull that. Actually, I got a good one I want to do. Gauge. Let's see if I can find that one. Yeah, let's do this one. Great. This is just some fake data. So what's happening right now is PowerPoint just reached out to Domo and said, hey, for that card called Gauge, give me the latest and greatest and just put it in here. Done. Right. So now whenever I want to update this, I don't have to go take a screenshot. I can say refresh and PowerPoint will do the same thing, go to Domo, and it'll put it right back in the same size that you used it. Now, while this works for PowerPoint, it also works for Excel. So I open up Excel. I can do the same thing where I can go Domo here. I can pull in a data set, any data set I want. Pull in dummy data. Let's see if I have it. Dummy data, sure. So right now I can import this thing in here and it'll go through. Great. There's my dummy data. I can manipulate it, do whatever I want to it. And then when I'm ready, I can say, hey, I want to update it. I want to shoot it back into Domo and update it. So I prefer the write back, Shannon, to get back to your point, just because it's more automated as opposed to having to manually like click a bunch of things. But it's a very viable option. But great question. Great question. Good. Anybody else got anything for me related to this part? I'm gonna pull this chat back up. Okay, good. Great. Let's keep moving. So we're gonna go back here. So that write back thing was a lot of value that we provided. So that way their Google Slides were updated. Cool. And then we can do these automatic updates and all this other stuff. Let's talk about pricing real fast. I just want to kind of address this real quick. Oh, sorry. There seems to be a row limit in Excel plugins. Are there row limits in write back? Great question, Shannon. Wow, coming in hot. The question is, with Excel, there are definitely row limits, and Excel also starts to get really slow at 1 million rows. Write back, we Kiri and I just pushed a huge like 450 million file into S3. So there are it's much better in terms of pushing data into whatever system you want to. Good. Great questions. Love it. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about pricing. I know a lot of people don't know how to talk about pricing, and I just want to address it. So I'm going to show you how three different clients do it, and you can do whatever you want, bring it back to your company and see what works for you. So one of my clients, they actually don't charge for this at all. They include their original price. They up their original price at a premium to offer this thing in there. It's not an add-on. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. If you want to do that, go do it. I found that this way, I'm not the biggest fan of this because then what happens is clients kind of want more and more and more. So we've done a little bit of a hybrid freemium approach where here's the basic out of the box. And then if you want additional stuff, then you have to go ask, then we kind of like contract it out, or they come to me saying, hey, how many hours do you think it'll take you to make this thing? Like, well, this amount, and they pass that cost on to the client. So free for everybody, not the biggest fan of, but it exists there. There's the a la carte pay per hour. So what I've done with this is clients have bought my clients, sorry, have bought they say, I want this. My client buys a bunch of hours from me. I make it, and then they ship it off and they show it. And we just kind of keep going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I'm saying that you don't have to do this with me. You could do this with you all, but here's just a new way to do some revenue stream where you could be like, okay, what do you want? Cool. You make it, you say it took us these many hours to make, there you go, and you're done. And then there's one more, subscription. And this is what I'm the biggest fan of, subscription model. So with the subscription model, what we've done before is you said, okay, cool. Here's the basic out of the box thing. You get 500, you pay us $500 a month to access your dashboard and whatever. Cool. Hey, you want a new thing in there? Cool. Well, if you continuously buy X number of hours from us every week, that goes to building and blah, 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 blah. But that has been a pretty good model. So the last two, subscription and kind of an a la carte adjustment, have worked out super well for the clients that I've worked with when we built this thing up. Cool. All right. Hopefully inspiring you. Hopefully you're understanding. The main thing was understanding your client's friction points, whether it be in how often it takes them, how much time it takes them to run a report, how often they're looking for reports, if they know SQL, Excel stuff, and you can make their life easier. That's the main thing. Making life easier. If you can do it, you can probably monetize it, make some value out of it. All right. How are you feeling? Can I see some scuba symbols? May I see some scuba symbols, please? I just want to know if this is working out for you. Good. Thanks, everybody. Love it, love it, love it. All right, let's go to our next one. So now that we've identified for a client for our couches or for my dad's jet or anything like that, we identified friction points and how we can reduce them, and now we can do it through data. Let's talk about how we can start to kind of encroach and make this a bit better. So one thing that I've learned by doing this is if you do it really well the first time, people, it just spreads internally, and then more and more departments within that company want to use you, and even other companies might hear word of mouth and they might want to use you too. So this is a picture of the world's largest domino set. Isn't this crazy? One person pushes this little domino right here on the end, and it just causes this chain reaction, just go boom, 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 this big fall of dominoes. And the way we can do that in terms of data stuff is we could talk about ingredients, different connectors. So Domo, one of the main reasons why I really like Domo as opposed to Power BI or Tableau is that Domo has literally 1,000 connectors. And if you cannot find the connector you're looking for, you can totally hook it up through the email connector or through JSON no code or through a bunch of other Zapier, a bunch of other things in there. And this has been a huge selling point for me because Tableau and Power BI have like 80 connectors. So you're like, wow, 80 versus 1,000. Am I going to use all 1,000? Definitely not. But if you use 10 connectors out of 1,000, not a big deal. 10 out of 80 becomes a pretty big deal. So I'll show you what I do when I'm talking to clients, so you can do the same exact move if you want to. When I'm talking to my clients, and they're like, well, we like what you did, but we're not sure if we want to use it yet for marketing or for sales or whatever. I go, this is what I do. I go here to Domo, and if you don't know where I am right now, I'm in my Domo. I go to the data sets section. I go to connectors right here, and I just say this. All right, well, give me something that you use. And this is where it becomes a game. People be like, do you have Adobe Analytics? And I'm like, yep, right there. Boom. We got the advanced version, we got the regular one. Do you have Meta? And I'm like, well, it's actually called Facebook ads, but yep, we got it right there. Then they'll say things like, do you have Snapchat? for marketing stuff. Yep, right there, right? But I'm just like hitting it. And if I can't find it, I say, well, if we can't find it, do they have an API? Because if they have an API, we can go get this no code thing right there. So this allows me to just play this game and to really, and when they find something that they didn't think was going to be in there, but they see it, they're like, oh wow. Like I was just talking to a client yesterday and she was asking about project management. And I said, yeah, what do you use? She's like, well, we use Jira. I'm like, yep, Jira's right there. What else? And she goes, well, we did have Asana, I think. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've used Asana. It's right there. And I said, but you know what I prefer? I prefer Smart Sheets. And I was like, boom. But just doing it live, it's like, wow, Domo has a lot of these connectors that we can use. And that's how I've been able to kind of expand into different territories. So I have this for you. If you want to take a screenshot, you can, but I remember this whole thing will be emailed to you. But this is a list of some of the connectors that I've used by different departments. So when I'm talking to marketing, I say, yep, I know how to use, we can connect Google Analytics, Google Ads, Bing, Search Console, all this stuff in there. Sales, we can totally connect HubSpot, Salesforce, Pardot, Shopify, Amazon, and I just keep going down the list. But this has been a huge thing for me just by showing them all those ingredients where I get a lot of initial buy-in from that department. And then they're like, okay, cool, let's do a proof of concept. And then I know, boom, we got it. We got it locked in. So if you are thinking about doing it for your clients, you can start off with your one dashboard for that one department, that one client that you might have of what you need to make. But if you can say like, hey, I don't know if there's anybody else in your company that like a different department, but if they needed help, as long as we can connect to it, we're good, and we can now. You're basically their interim analytics team that can help out. Cool. So just showing you that, getting you a bit inspired. All right, one more. How we doing? Can I see scuba symbols? Making sure that made a lot of sense. I moved through that one a little fast. See, good. Okay, good. Yeah, I hope you really do think about this and think about monetizing it and, you know, using that using that new bonus money to buy yourself a new pan. I'm looking at new saucepan, so that's on my mind right now. Good, Shannon. How do you handle the various credentials for the connectors? Great question, Shannon. Okay. Yes. So Shannon's question is, hey, what do you do if you need credentials for the connectors? Yes, we definitely need them to add you as a user. So what I tell people is if we can make an email account, not like give John access. If we can make something like an analytics at dashboarddudes.com thing, you can always give that access to that email address and not the person. And that way you can just remove the email address entirely. I tell my clients like just remove it entirely if you want to get rid of it. It's done instead of giving it to a bunch of like 5 different people. But once I get access to that, and you only need viewer access. We don't need editor access because we're not going to change anything. Then we just hook it up normally and we're good to go. Cool. Hopefully that makes sense, Shannon. Good question. All right. Cool. All right. Let's get into the fun one. This one. This one we're going to spend the majority of the time on. So this is this little pyramid, how I see things. Now, there's horizontal expansion, right? Which is you hit new markets, like we're talking marketing, sales, finance, blah, blah, blah. And then there's this vertical piece. How can you get people to go up the ladder? And in sales terms, it's called a funnel or a value ladder, all these other words that we can use here. So let's talk through each of them. The first one is embedding. Embedding dashboard as an app. This is what I just showed you, right? You go to a dashboard page, you go to this app, you just do that whole thing again, and you say, I'll show you right here. You get that embed code, you put it into your website as HTML. Again, if you are like, what is this step? It really depends on who's hosting your website. If it's WordPress, if it's Wix, if it's whatever you use, but it's super, super, super easy to do. And if you have somebody on your team, IT, who can do this, I mean, I can even show you how to do this. It's super, super fast. Password protected, self-subscription, monetize it. No big deal. So here we have you make money by the initial creation, about how many hours it's going to take you to make it, and then you have ongoing subscription revenue. Let's talk about this next one. This has been a huge one for me that people really just get super, super excited about, using alerts and reports. So phase one is you say, hey, yeah, we can totally give you this dashboard that you can access anytime you want by going to this website and plugging your password and whatever. Phase two, you say, but you know what we can really do? We can amp it up. Is we can make automatic alerts for you and automatic reports. So now alert can be For instance, if a website goes down, alert me right away that I know something. Hey, if my spend number went down, alert me right away. If you know my story, I'll tell you this real fast. I'll show you this story. Does anybody know this company, Granger, by any chance? I know Hayden knows Granger, but if anybody else knows this company, Granger, I used to work for this company, and they sell a bunch of industrial products like this, like janitorial stuff, HVAC, a bunch of safety stuff. That's their thing. So if I type this in, I know I've said this story many times, but I think it's important. If I type in the word hard hats, these picture things in marketing world, this is called a product listing ad, a PLA. Granger makes $4.5 million a day from this thing. And how it works is Granger's, our internal team at the time, or system, would send a 1.8 million row CSV file to Adobe, which is our marketing agency that we use. Adobe would take this file every single day because it had in there how much quantity is left, what's the price going to be, all the stuff in it. Take this file, and they would produce these product listing ads for us, automatic every single day. And I like to ask this question. I would love to know, because I'm a big cook. Does anybody work with melted chocolate who's on this call? Anybody by any chance do any dessert stuff with melted chocolate? Yes? No? Okay, maybe not. Melted chocolate, I'll show you this thing. If you put one little drop, Shannon washes dishes. I like it. At Shoney's, okay, that's why. She just wants to own it because she wants to move up the ladder. So blooming chocolate. Cool. There's this term called blooming, and this is what happens. When you add one little drop of water to chocolate, it ruins the whole thing. It causes this blooming to happen. It clumps and it becomes really, really not good. And you have two options. You either add a ton of cocoa butter to it to bring it back to life, or you throw it away. And that's the truth of it. So why this matters is because when, oh, Granger, sorry, let me go back to that thing. Let's go back this way. Yep. Is because for some reason our pricing column was text. No clue why. It could be one little letter was in there, one little space, but if you put one little letter in a numeric column, the whole thing is now text. Don't know what happened. So Adobe was like, oh, you must not be selling anything today because we can't see any prices. So we're not going to put anything for you. And at this time, they were sending us Excel files every Friday of how we did. So we didn't know about this till Friday. $4.5 million a day from Granger, right? And this happened twice. So we lost $9 million in a week because of an oversight that nobody had eyes on. So my VP of marketing was pissed, and he had to tell the CMO, like, we just lost $9 million because nobody had eyes on the problem. Adobe was pointing at Granger, Granger's pointing at Adobe, like, well, like, you gave us a file, but Granger's like, are you an idiot? Why did you think we would have no prices, right? And it was just this back and forth. And I said, oh, hey, everybody, I've been learning this Domo tool, and there's this thing called alerts right here, right here. If you give me that same CSV file, I can make an alert. So I made 3 alerts. The 3 alerts I made were I want to know if that pricing column is not numeric. I want to know if there's any price that's negative dollars, which make no sense. And I want to know if we're selling more than like 1.8 million SKUs, if it's something crazy, or if the price is above an absurd amount. And in that CSV file, I wrote one little line, just an additional line. And I said, there's a new product called test, and it costs us ONE, right? Make the whole thing text. Boom. Me, head of paid search, my VP, my boss, CMO, we all got alerted on our phone because of Domo alerts. So that's what you can do. You can pitch that to your clients and be like, yeah, we could set up alerts for you so you know that if something breaks, we have eyes on it right away. And now we start to come out of the realm of just making pie charts. I say this a lot. A pie chart's a pie chart, and an analytics tool, if Tableau is making a dashboard and Domo's making a dashboard, it's pretty comparable. But when you get up the level of like, hey, we could make your life easier by having alerts for you, oh, it becomes a whole new solution that you're selling, not just here's a dashboard. Furthermore, scheduled reports. This is a pretty cool one. So that Tabitha person I talked to you about, is I had this report sent to her I made a dashboard and I said, we're going to send it to you. We're going to mail it to you every single day at 6 a.m. So you don't even have to log into Domo anymore. It'll just show you the thing. And then if you want to do more research, you can click it and it'll bring you to Domo. But people love this too because it just, again, we're reducing friction. They don't have to go in and see it. We're making their life easier. Cool. So this is like the next step where you can say, yep, we set it up for you to have that subscription, and people love it. They absolutely love it. All right. If you want to get even higher on that, I have two clients that do this. You can buy a sub instance of Domo. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to show you. If I go here on my new navigation, if I go to features, and if I go to, let me just type in the word subscription. I'll go search. There it is, subscription. What you can do is you can go to admin, and what this sub instance subscription means is you can have a parent child instance. So what I have two clients that do is they have clients who bought basically a subdomain of Domo underneath my client. My clients, we do the ETL, we scrub all the data, we filter it, whatever, and we automatically push it into their clients, my clients' clients instance. So now they don't have to do any of the connecting stuff. They just have their own thing. And that allows them to make cards and do their own dashboards and all this other stuff. It is a bit of a hefty price. I don't know what the price is necessarily per instance of this, but something you could talk to AE about. But this has been pretty cool where my clients pay pretty top dollar to do this, and my client makes money off of it. And now their client is loving it because they get to use Domo, and my client is the supplier of their data. So if you want to get to this level, this is another cool thing that you can do right here. Cool. Let me go back to, where was I? I was going back to our thing and sub instance. Okay, now the last one on top of that, I just want to be conscious of time to make sure we're all good, is this one, a boot camp. So this is what I'm really, really, really good at. So then when my clients get their clients, it's like a Russian doll situation. When my clients get their clients to get a sub-instance of Domo, they usually like to bring me in to do a boot camp. Now, if you don't know, I've done many, many, many boot camps for a while now across the country, and this is what I like to do. I like to do, okay, well, here's my day one agenda. I'm going to show people how to get navigate in Domo, how to pull in ingredients, how to do an ETL, put a dashboard together. And then day two, I show a lot of cool stuff. Here's App Studio, here's workflows, here's a bunch of things. And how I operate, this is just me saying it, like how I do it. I like to do 50 minutes on, we're going to work, 10 minutes break. 10 minutes, you can go use the bathroom, check your email, whatever. But for 50 minutes, we're in it. I do a lot of the whole scuba thing. And I walk around just so that we're all, I'm looking at people's computers so they know that they can't be multitasking. And if they are multitasking, I call them out. I know it's a fun game. And then they go like, oh, and they get into it. But it's been good. I'm happy to do that. And then that way there's more involvement from my client's client and even my own clients with this Domo thing, and it becomes a much better relationship. So on the right here is some testimonials that I've gotten from some people who've done some of my boot camps with me. You have Casey, who was like, it was described one word to describe John, awesome. So I appreciate that. The second word is probably Asian, but the first word, awesome, we'll keep that one. And Daniel, right here, he had a really nice thing to say. He said, by far, this was the best professional development training in my history of personal development training in any job or career. John was thoughtful, engaging, attentive, and had patience the entire training. So that was pretty cool. So anyway, this is like the next tier that you can go to get your clients to be really involved with Domo and to continue that subscription revenue to you. Cool. And I'll finish with this. I'll just say some other things. So let's talk about, then I'll open it up to ask about stuff. So the main thing I just want you to think about is right now for your clients that you're working with or different departments or whatever, think about what are their frustration points, what are their friction points, and how can you use Domo to get rid of those friction points, whether it be whether it be scheduling reports, having alerts, having just this the data they need to see right away, whatever it is, think about that. If you can figure it out, you have a lot of opportunity to monetize it. I'd say you start off with just one dashboard, then you can move into making more dashboards for different departments, different clients. Got that. Think about subscription revenue. Happy to talk about this stuff. The library thing is how we can get to different departments. And then we have that value ladder through these different means of how to do it. Cool. All right. How's everybody doing? Can I see some scuba symbols real quickly? Let me know that you're still in it with me. Good. Good, 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 good. Thank you, everybody. All right. I got one more thing for you, then I will shut up. Here, I would love to talk to you about this. So if you want to, you are very welcome to book 30 minutes with me for free. Let's talk because here's my thing, right? I really enjoy doing the boot camps and I enjoy being a guide and teaching people. So if you want to just talk about this, if your success is my success, because then maybe you'll consider me for the boot camps or for courses or anything like that. So book some time with me. I love to talk. If you don't know this already from me, I have these courses that you can try out Domo. So you can learn Domo through my courses. These videos are all little short videos. I'm actually redoing all of them. I redid the 101 recently, so I talked about the new navigation. I'm in the middle of finishing up the ETL one, this 201 right now, where I'm making them into more granular little bite-sized things too. But you have access to those. You can just bring me on to help you out with whatever work you want. The boot camp, what I showed you, that's me coming out there and teaching people how to use Domo. And then I have this one. This has been a big one people have liked. I produce this audit. So this tells us, hey, how many credits have I used? How many rows? How am I doing on credits? Am I over? This pink thing here means I have data sets that have rows in there that have no ETLs or no cards attached to them. So they're just a waste of space. So we can really reduce all that stuff in there. Cool. And last one too. So yeah, if you want to book time with me, let me know. I'm happy to help you out. If you haven't seen this already, I have this all chart types in here. So if you are thinking about making dashboards and whatnot, I produce every single chart type in Domo out of the box. So you can see this. If you are, you could just go to here. I'll just show you right now. We're gonna go here. Dashboard dues slash recipes. There you go. It's right there for you. So that resource is there to help you out. I have some SQL stuff in here to show you, you know, little formulas, but this is the main thing that people really enjoy, seeing all different chart types in Domo, what exists and where does it live. Cool. So I'm always just trying to be helpful and hopefully you consider how you can maybe monetize Domo for your company. And it's been a big hit with my clients, so hopefully we could do the same with yours. All right, everybody. That's it for me. I really hope this was helpful. I would love to, again, I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to meet you. You have 30 minutes with me. Book that time and we could talk. But if not, then feel free to reach out whenever you want to and we'll talk. Cool. I'll stay on for another 10 minutes and that'll be our 1 o'clock time. And I'll answer any questions anybody might have, whether it be about cooking, franchises, or doing any of this monetization stuff. So let me know. Happy to talk. Otherwise, I will talk to you later, everybody.